What's up, y'all? It's HoopSpark. I'm back with another video, and this one is gonna be a great one because, man, we had some amazing Nuggets games. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into this. I'm super excited to talk about these two games. This first one is Grizzlies at Denver on Friday. So let's start this with the Grizzlies side. The Nuggets won 113-97, and Ja Morant put up 27, 4, and 10. But it felt like a lot. Most of that was really in the first half. As the second half came around, he became a lot more inconsistent with his drives, and we kind of figured out how to shut him down and just make him take these complicated floaters that he's not as good at. I was happy with how Dillon Brooks didn't really do much. He had 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He was defending Murray, and Murray just kind of destroyed him. We'll get to that a little later. We got Desmond Bane with 19 and 4 rebounds. He played a pretty damn good game. I really like Desmond Bane. Jaren Jackson had 15 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist, and he had quite a few blocks too. He was playing like typical JJJ, but the Grizzlies bench really didn't do much. I mean, Luke Kennard was the bench points leader with 6 points, so they still definitely got some stuff to figure out. It was kind of difficult for them because they had Xavier Tillman starting at center today. They still have Steven Adams out, and that meant that it was really like Tillman. They had Brandon Clark for a little bit, but then he got hurt and is actually going to miss the rest of the season, I'm pretty sure. So their shallowness at the bigs, we kind of exploited near the end of the game there, where it's just like we would just kind of start scoring in the paint a bunch, and it really worked out. So let's move on to the Nuggets. We got Jokic with 18 points, 18 rebounds, and 10 assists. Great game from him. We had MPJ being one of the only people who was really nailing his threes there at the in that game. Porter had 26, 8, and 1. Murray had 22, 5, and 9, also hitting a few threes on Dillon Brooks. Aaron Gordon had 13 points and 5 rebounds. Honestly, kind of an off night for him, but it was his first game back from injury, I believe. We also had Bruce Brown with 15, 6, and 1 off the bench. That really helped out. The things that really kind of bothered me on the Nuggets side of the ball were, first off, they shot horrendously from 3 in this game. I think it was about 25%. And the two new additions, Reggie Jackson and Thomas Bryant, really didn't affect this game too much. Reggie Jackson had 1 point and 2 rebounds in 19 minutes of play, and Thomas Bryant had 2 points and 3 rebounds in 6 minutes. So it's just, I kind of wish they'd do a little more, because them playing that bad really caused the Nuggets to fall behind, especially in that second quarter and kind of late into the third. But man, that fourth quarter was just dominance. It was dominance. It was probably, it was one of the best quarters I've seen all year. It was just, again, absolute dominance by the Nuggets. And I think it just sort of proves that last game against them was a fluke. It's like we have 3 games on them. Yeah, it really reminded me of the Clippers game. That first Clippers game was probably what I would compare that fourth quarter to, because it was I was looking at the scoreboard and it was 26-3 for a while in the quarter. So yeah, this game was just really impressive once it got to that second half. That first half I was kind of puckering a little bit. I was pretty nervous. Grizzlies they were showing up and they were defending us really well too. So let's move on to the team stats. The Grizzlies shot 31 for 84, and that is good for 37% just about. They shot 11 for 32 from 3, so that's like 34.5%-ish. And then they shot 77% from the free throw line. The Nuggets shot 40 for 87, so they shot 46% from the field, but they shot 8 for 31 from 3. So they shot 25%. I mean, that's just bad. And they shot 80% from the free throw line. They out-rebounded the Grizzlies by 13 and had 3 more offensive rebounds. It was 53-40 total, 13-10 offensive. And then the Nuggets had kind of a low assist night for them, which is funny to say because they still had 28. But, you know, they're usually up there around like those mid-30s. And then the Grizzlies had 24. They were just about even with blocks and steals and turnovers. But the Nuggets destroyed them at points in the paint. They had 22 more. It was 58-36. And just such an impressive and dominant fourth quarter. So that game was actually, if you were not aware, really important for the Nuggets to win. It was not going to be a massive deal if they lost. However, now that they've won, first seed is pretty much locked up in the West, which is awesome. I mean, the Nuggets have a few challenging games left. They've got the Suns twice, the Warriors, the Bucks. They got the Sixers again. But other than that, other than those teams that I named, the rest of the teams that they're playing are either close to 500 or below 500. So their schedule is looking really easy going out. As long as they don't like collapse or get any strange injuries, this first seed is pretty much locked. Okay, so let's talk about the game on Monday, March 6th. That was Nuggets Raptors, and the Nuggets won 118-113. This game was honestly terrifying. I had accepted the fact that the Nuggets were, might lose by halfway through the third, because it just really didn't look like they had much fight in them. None of them really wanted to play for a while, and Toronto was just sort of eating up the offensive boards and scoring off of those. And Van Vliet had a good game. So yeah, it was looking pretty bad for a while, but the Nuggets pulled it out in that fourth quarter, squeaked out a win. For the Raptors, Van Vliet had 21, 1 rebound, and 14 assists. That is really impressive. We also had Siakam with 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Jakob Poeltl with 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. He was eating on Jokic. And they also had Gary Trent Jr. coming off the bench with 13 points. Now, what was interesting about this game is it seemed like the Raptors were kind of pulling out their playoff rotation. They only had 9 guys play. So that was really interesting. And it seemed like the Nuggets were kind of doing the same thing. They did not run a full 10 today, which I really like. Alright, so I think that we need to have a little talk about the Nuggets defense. This game was just really concerning. Jokic, while he did get a couple steals this game, that were pretty impressive, he just could not defend like Jakob Poeltl. And it's like Jakob Poeltl's like pretty good, but it's like they're better bigs in this league that we're gonna have to beat to get to the finals and to win the finals. So it was a little scary seeing that. However, they did like they always do and locked up with like 5 minutes left to go in the game. So let's move on to the Nuggets. Jokic had 17, 13, and 9, good old Sombor double. And he maintains his triple-double average with those 9 assists. But I think, it's like he would need to get at least 10 every game through if he wants to keep it. So I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on for the rest of the year. Hopefully he can maintain that triple-double. We also had Jamal Murray with 24, 1, and 5. Michael Porter Jr. with 20 points and 5 rebounds. He, again, was one of the people who really kept us in this game and was constantly making his shots that he was taking. AG returned to form, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Good game from AG. We also had Reggie Jackson have his best game as a Nugget, in my opinion, with 13 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Now, he was just, it's like his shot is just not really there sometimes. And it's like, you know, the other teams will just kind of leave him wide because I think they know. And then he'll put it up and he just breaks it. And it's frustrating to watch him sometimes. But he does play hard, and he is a really good, he is a good point guard for that second unit. We had Bruce Brown have a pretty crappy game too, only 9 points in 20 minutes with 4 rebounds and an assist. He could not land a lot of his shots. Really struggling for most of this game. Alright, so let's move on to the team stats. Toronto shot 43 for 86 at 50%, and then they had 10 for 27 on their threes. That's good for 37%. And they shot 85% from the free throw line, 17 for 20. The Nuggets also shot 43 for 86 for 50%. However, they went 13 for 33 from 3, so that's good for just about 40%. And they shot 82.6% from the free throw line, 19 for 23. They were just about dead even in rebounds, and the Nuggets out offensively rebound them, which was impressive considering how many the Raptors got. It was 12-11 Nuggets and 41-41 total. Nuggets had 30 assists and Toronto had 29. I'm sure Van Vliet's 14 was a big part of that. Toronto had 4 blocks to Denver's 2, and Denver had 9 steals to Toronto 6. Turnovers was just about even. It was 15-13, and same with points in the paint. It was 48-52. I would say that the big difference this game was just the 3-point shooting. The Nuggets shot more, made more, and if they had taken the same amount of shots, Denver still would have won because they had 2 more free throws, but it would have been a lot closer of a game. So that's something interesting to think about. Alright, so like I said, the first seed is kind of locked up for the Nuggets. So as Nuggets fans, what should we kind of be looking for these last few weeks of the season? I think that honestly we should try to get first overall, because we're like one game behind, half a game behind first overall. And that would be massive if we could get that, because we're the best home team in the league. I mean, we have 30 wins at home. So I think that if the Nuggets could pull that off, that would be huge. Other than that, I'm really just looking to kind of wean down the starters' minutes a little if we can on like games like the Spurs game on the 10th or the Pistons on the 16th. It's like we don't necessarily need to play all of our starters for those games, and I don't really want to see all of our starters play for those games, because it's like we could win those pretty easily with, like, say, Jamal out or AG out or KCP out. So yeah, I think that we should strive for first overall seed, and at the same time, at the games that we can win without all of our starters, we should, just to keep them healthy and rested for the playoffs. Oh, something I forgot to mention earlier in the video. So I was there at that Grizzlies game, and that was probably the craziest atmosphere I've ever seen at a Nuggets home game. I mean, near the end, once Jokic really started going off and deciding to score, the entire arena was chanting MVP. And I mean, it was like you couldn't hear the PA, you couldn't hear the music, it was just people chanting MVP. And I mean, I don't know if that's ever happened before. It's pretty clear that everybody knows. And it was such a great experience to be there and see that everybody in that arena wanted that win so bad. And they gave it to us. Such a great game to actually be at. The merit that it is nice to watch a game on TV and not have to go out or whatever, but man, I mean, just the vibes in Ball Arena specifically are just so crazy. And I mean, it's not something that can be replicated on TV. Alright, so that is just about gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this far. If you have, go ahead and like the video if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and follow my Twitter and Instagram coming up in the slide right about now. See ya.